re-thread this the other day. This guy here was starting to fall apart. Lucky enough, it did take a thread. I had to put a different bolt on it rather than having to throw it out. That's the new edge. Just turn it around. Very handy little tool. Got it about 4 years ago. And the handiness isn't just the length of it, it's the size of it overall, because guess what? It's very hard to lose. Right, I suppose it's time to put some air on this thing. I don't know if you remember a video I done about a year ago on it, but I brought this down to a tyre place to get this puncher fixed. It's a slow puncher, and they looked and said there was no puncher in it. They couldn't find any leaks whatsoever. So I took it home, and 2 days it was flat, and I've been pumping it every 3 days since. I did take it down to another tyre place and got them to look at it, and they couldn't find any leaks on it. But hey, she's flat again. I suppose the good part of it is it's only flat on the bottom. It'd be much worse if it was flat up here, then you'd have a real problem. Probably be easier for them to diagnose. The fact that it's only flat on the bottom, I suppose it does leave it a wee bit more difficult. But anyway, let's put the air on this piece here. We don't need to touch this, and get it round again. That's a big improvement. Alright, so I just threw a mic on there because it's actually ridiculously windy. It'll blow you off your feet. Very unusual to see places so dry this time of year. We have a few issues with our fertiliser spreader. This is Amazon, which I bought as a demo, actually, next demo, 2009. So I think I bought it in 2010 and got a few pound off it because it was a demo model. I think it was like the plough match as well. And then when I came into the local dealership, I bought it. Used to always have a wagtail spreader before that, a Viking and an Abbey, I think it was as well. And then I moved up to this here. It does have a few issues though, and they are going to have to be addressed. It's a very good spreader, and there's a lot of life left in this spreader. But we do have rust issues. If it's not addressed very, very soon, it's going to become a real problem. You can see on the here as well, just at the bottom of the chutes, you can see it's starting to come here. Anywhere where fertiliser gets to sit. This is a stainless steel door that you can open, so we'll have to open that. We're going to have to fix that. You can see this side is much worse. You can see the way it's moving up under here now, and you see when it gets rough like that, fertiliser will stick to it more. Even when we're washing it, which I do after every time I use it, rust is inevitable. It is steel, and when it can get started, it takes over very, very quickly. But the rest of the spreader is actually in very, very good condition. Minor repairs will be done. I'm going to leave that for a job on its own, another project. As if I don't have enough of them, I'll actually have to start putting them in alphabetical order at this stage. But it's something I plan on doing very soon, either sandblasting it or just using the grinder and just fixing the bits that are rusted, not spraying the whole thing or any of that crack, just fixing what's rusted. The inside of the chute has got surface rust on it, no rot, just surface rust. Again, might spray the whole inside chute, just sand it down, just do the whole inside of it just to protect it. Now, these are our two slides here that come back and forth, and in front there are two rams. They're hydraulically operated, which open and close the feed for these two spinners on the bottom. It just comes out over here. What's happened is they're jamming, so there must be rust or something built up in both sides, which is leaving them that they don't want to open. So I have soaked these in penetrating oil for the past 3 days, and it doesn't seem to have had any effect. So I must either not hitting the right spot or a lot of build up of rust in here. So I am going to strip it down eventually and fix it right. But today, what I do normally is hit it a couple of raps with the hammer on the ram and try to move them, get them moving back and forth. So that's open, that's close, open, close. So far the one on this side is moving back and forth, but the one on the right is trying to move, but it won't. It actually affects both of them sometimes. We're just going to get then our persuader and a wee tap here, and there it goes. But anyway, I'm going to do this a few times back and forth, spray some penetrating oil in here, and hopefully it'll free up. You can see that one on the left is lazy, it takes longer, see that? So we're going to open the sower up. Let's open up the settings and give her full movement. So we're right up here to 30. That means it'll open as far as it can open. The more movement we get on, the better. There are 2 shut-off valves that are over there in the corner. See them just there. And what that does basically is stops the hydraulic oil flowing through. So if you have this closed and fertilizer in it and you didn't want anything to leak out or for it to open of its own accord, you close them off and that's it. It'll stay whatever way it is. Probably be a good idea to mount them higher up so you could access them better. I don't tend to use them very much, but you have to be careful. Say you pull up at a shop, for instance, and you turn the tractor off, and you come back to it, and you get up on the tractor and drive off. You could end up driving the whole way home and leaving a lovely line of fertiliser behind you, because what will happen is oil will move its way back, seep its way back in. The spring, this is on the spring tension, and the fertiliser spreader will open. So sometimes it does that when the tractor's running too. Now, of course, that's never happened to me, ever. At least not more than twice a week anyway. So we're still using, very hard to see that because there's a bit of a glare on the window behind, but we're still using our Gypsy tech, our Gypsy technology, bit of GPS, and it's working great, especially in fields that are grazed out where you can't see the wheel marks. It comes into its own. I haven't mapped any of these fields yet. It's something I should do, and that way on a Gwyn it'll know which field it's in. I find just by doing it this way here, Gwyn, do your first lap around and you're basically just colouring in the rest of the picture and you'll know where your fertiliser has been put. You certainly don't want to be losing or over sowing. Alright, so Nicole's just up there now bringing in the cows, and she's just hunting them up there along the pass. I'm just in here to move the fence for tomorrow. Cows are in still at night. They'll be in for a while at night yet until a growth comes. There's not a huge amount of grass in front of them, but it's enough. It's dry and it's keeping them content. Grass growth is very, very poor, although we're having lovely weather. It's 18, 19 degrees it actually says today. It's absolutely glorious. Look at that blue sky. But we're having a nice frost at night. And frost combined with dry weather for kind of a prolonged period of time now, you get a reddish colour starting to come in, and that's purely from the cold at night, and then the sun comes down onto that frost and it actually burns the grass. Alright, so there's the crooked fence moved for the night. Jesus, that's an awful looking fence. I may learn how to walk straight. Specsavers have a field day with me. But that's it, that's moved there for tomorrow. We have another problem at home, which, yeah, you'll see in a minute. So we're just getting to the end of milking. So we had 2 mishaps in the past 2-ish weeks. So first of all, I'm milking these last 3 cows here. This cow has just calved here a few hours ago. You can still see she's passing her cleaning from her. But if you'll notice, I only have it on 3 of her quarters, and that's because so back about 2 weeks ago I went in to check them and I noticed a lot of blood on the slats, and I quickly found out the culprit for. I'd say what she done was she got up and she stood on her own quarter. I've seen it happen before. She just slid the quarter open. Now I've seen in other cases where you could fix this problem, but you'll not fix this one because the spin itself is cut. And when I say the spin, I mean where the milk comes down. The little hole where the milk comes down has been severed, and once that happens, that's it. It's game over for that quarter. Now the hope is that she doesn't take felon. She has a lot of swelling in that quarter at the minute, and she's on antibiotics for it, so we just have to watch for that. Now the girl in front of her, she has got a whole pile of milk at the minute because she hurt her back in the slats. What happened was, I'd see a cow jumping in the middle of the night, and when she was standing with her hump and her tail was up in the air, and I just know there was 4 cows a bull in that night. They're in the slats. They obviously tossed her. She hurt her back. Thankfully, with painkillers and an anti-inflammatory, she's practically 100% better. Just have to build back up now on her milk. She should be okay. But this here, unfortunately, That's just part of the game. It's a very big disappointment. She's a really good cow. Yeah, it's annoying. Alright, so Nicole's just feeding this wee calf. That's drinking. Yeah. Good stuff. So there's 2 more heifer calves up here. So Leah's just getting them done. So I said I'll leave Nicole to feed away that calf. It's good to see it drinking. It's a small little heifer calf. Tiny little heifer calf, but a little healthy one. Aberdeen Angus. And let her work away at that. My pump is pumping away down here. So there's a pump on here, some pump, but my pressure switch is gone, so it doesn't automatically turn off like it should. So I'd have to turn this on and off when it starts to fill up. I was thinking of bringing it away and getting a new pressure switch put on it. But the thing is then, it was in 2008, as far as I know, 2007, 2008. So it's 16, 17 years old. Because of where it is underneath this ground here, it's down in a big cesspit. It's a dirty water pump. It has never given any trouble, by the way. It's been a very reliable one, but there is an insulated waterproof connection in under there, and I'll have to get an electrician to come in, disconnect that, then I have to bring it away. It's quite a journey away to get it done. I'll be away for a few hours, and then I'll have to go back a few days later and pick it up. Then I'll have to get the electrician to come back and put it back in. It's all cost. So what I'm thinking of doing possibly is just buy a new one. That way I can get my electrician to come, and when he's here he can disconnect, reconnect a new one, and the job is done. I'll still probably get it fixed and have it as a kind of a spare for doing something else. My only worry is that the stuff you get now wouldn't be as good as what they were, because has been a really reliable pump. This is the guy we have here for mixing our milk replacer. If you don't have one of these, just fits on the end of a drill. It's worth its weight in gold because it's so handy for mixing milk replacer. That is until it got broken, and we're not going to say who broke it. This is an old cheapo one, so I'm going to try to put this back in the centre here, because when it's spinning it's off balanced and it's shaking all over the place. So if I can get a wee dot of weld in there, we'll be fit to save her. Actually, like that. Well, it's not pretty, but it doesn't have to be. It just has to work. It's not vibrating no more. That'll do nicely. Today is the 9th of April, Wednesday the 9th of April, and we are officially starting to spread or sow fertiliser on our first cut. Now it is very dry at the minute, but the weather is due to break at the weekend. I probably would have been better off leaving it till Friday or Saturday, just right before the weather breaks. But I have a lot of other things to get done then, and I don't want everything happening at the one time, so I just said today we're just going to plough on and get it sown and get it finished with. Fields in the sunshine today, they're still looking very yellow, just very unproductive looking. So I put a lot of that down to the frost we had and the fact that it's just very dry for the time of year. Anyway, let's get in the field and let's have a quick look at it when we're standing there. So saying 18 degrees today on the phone, so I wouldn't say it's too far wrong either. It's very warm, there's not as much a wind, the coldness in the wind is eased. So it's quite a nice day, and I can actually see the grass starting to colour up today. But I see another problem. which I'm feeling is going to be a problem for a lot of people. So we stand here on the bottom of our big hill, and if we look at it, well, there's not much to be looking at. So I've been looking at this few days and hoping that it'll soon come a wee bush and start ticking up and growing. Still early, and it still will burst into life. I know it will. I've seen this happening before. But one other thing that I did notice is the dribble bar. So we all talk about the effects of dribble bars when we get dry weather and the stuff doesn't get washed in. There's always a fear when you come along and you're bringing in your first cut and you're raking it up, you'll bring a lot of that stuff back in with you, and that's not good for cows. It can cause a lot of harm. So look, here's the dribble bar here. You can see this stuff. See this? It's dry as a bone at the minute. It is as dry as a bone. But look at that, how scab that's on it. Look, it's going to take a lot of rain to break that down now. That's worrying, and I've seen that in a lot of farms around us. It's the exact same, and a lot of people are talking about it. Interested to see what first cut's going to be like. But I have a feeling a lot of that stuff, this is the course of it, a lot of that stuff's going to be coming back in, and that wouldn't be good. Definitely not. What I could do, but then again it's more tramping on ground, is to come in with the tine harrow. Could harrow the whole field, and that would break all that up. And I don't want to do that, not on the 9th of April. Fields need to be closed off now and just let alone and grow when we get the fertiliser on them. The more you tramp on them, the more harm you're doing. So, oh, bumpy, bumpy, bumpy. Supposed to tell how dry the fields are when you get the bumps hitting you really hard. There's no softness in it. It's a long time since I ever put out fertiliser on ground. This time of year they're so dry. It's lovely to be fit to work on ground without marking it. I just noticed there when I was doing my first run around, I wasn't putting it out near equally. It was going a lot to the one side, so I had open and close there a few times since the weigh again is open and closing now, so can't have that, but it's definitely something that has to be fixed.
The Whopper from Burger King, 100% Irish beef.
Alright, well that's it, officially done. It's actually the following day. I didn't get finished last night, but we have all our silage ground now done. You can see up here there's much more grass up in this area. The ground's a bit heavier and probably holds on a lot more moisture and seems to always do a lot better. Come over here and you nearly have a silage pit worth of stuff. That fence is on, I better not hit that. I don't want to be laying on the ground when I'm talking to you. You can see the way I've been driving here on the tractor. I shouldn't be doing this, but I had to come round this way here, around a steep area, and go down there because this is where I've been cutting the trees. So I was going in and out this way, but you can see the layer of grass is here. But the sun is beaming today. It's about 20 degrees. That's phone saying that anyway. It's around 20 degrees. I have the hat on, by the way, and that brings me to another topic. Just I said I'd mentioned at the end of this video. Well, I wear sun cream now, hence the reason I'm all shining. When we grew up, we didn't wear sun cream. I'm just going to be honest. We never wore it at all. You actually went out to get the sun. You run after the sun to get it. We used to put a blanket out in the garden. When I was in my late teens, early 20s, you put a blanket out in the garden. We all did it. And you'd lay out in the blanket and the sun was out, and you'd heel it all into you. You'd lay there for half an hour, you'd turn over like a big sausage, and you cook the other side. That's the way it was done. Well, over the years then, I've learned that was the wrong thing to do, because now I have to wear a sun or a hat. Well, I've a lot less hair. I do have to wear a hat to try to keep the sun off me. And for some reason, I have to keep sun cream on nearly in the winter time now as well, because my skin hasn't fared out well from all that sun exposure. And any night I go in, even there's a wind, I can see a line where my shirt is, just around my face, and my arms do be bright red. Even wearing sun cream, they still be bright red. So it was a dangerous carry on to be at. Didn't know any better. Do now. I used to get as brown as a berry, and come the end of the summer, my father was the same. We just completely different people. I'd change Caucasian. My wife used to look at me and go, tall, dark and handsome. Now she looks at me and she sees pale, bloated, middle-aged. I'm only joking. My wife would never say that to my face. Funny, the older you get, you pick up different habits, and especially telling people your age. I don't really mind it that much, but I have a bit of fun with it. So anytime I get asked my date of birth, you know, when's your birthday? 7th, the 10th. And then you pause for a bit, and what year? Every year. That one never gets old. But on the positive side, and there's always a positive side, at least I can still go the whole night without a pee. But yeah, on the serious note, throw on your sun cream. You'll get into a habit of doing it and it'll not affect your day. I would suggest perhaps maybe get one that's not so greasy or so shiny looking, because half the time I'm walking around now I look extremely nervous all the time. So yeah, maybe avoid that one. We're down here on the back hill. I just want to show you this before I finish off what I'm at. But there's the pile of stuff. You remember this I was showing with the drone footage where all the trees was down. So there's it all cleared up now. There's no trees left. I still have to fix up this fence. I have to cut back some of that gorse as well and get that electric fence all fixed back up. Come over here to the far side. Still the odd branch I have to pick up. So you didn't see that one. But the old tree that was down last year didn't get cleared up. I have it cleared up now. And I have three trees that were on the far side of that cleared up. And we have a lovely big pile of bushes there as well. That's why I put up a video last week of fixing chainsaws, because this is what I actually was at all week, and it's not the most interesting stuff, but it's necessary work to get done. And I'm glad to be fit to get that done, especially when the weather's dry.